Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to another Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge. My name is Howard Pinsky, Senior XD Evangelist here at Adobe, and a big happy Friday to everyone joining me live on Behance. If you are tuning in, let me know who you are and where you're tuning in from. We've got Ruben and Katerina and Sam and Julia and Etsy and Ed and Juan and Kiki and Cassidy and Juhi and Cars. Welcome, everyone. Hope you're all having a great Friday. Hope you're excited for the weekend. But, you know, we're probably going to have to stay in one more time. Well, maybe not one more time. A few more times. But we have to stay safe. Flatten that curve and keep going. Keep trekking on. Hey, Cody, welcome. And Alexander and Eric. Hope you're all doing well. So, here we are. Day number 9 of these daily creative challenges. It's all coming to an end. However, there's another set of challenges coming up in just a few days. Jesse's going to be back on Monday, kicking off the next round. And knowing Jesse, it's going to be good stuff. All right, so behance.net/challenge/XD. Oh, we've got Monica from Germany and Alberto from Sydney and Sevilla. I'm not sure where that is. That's a new one for me. But it's great to see everyone from all over the world. All right, yeah, behance.net/challenge/XD. Go there for all the information about the Daily Creative Challenge. If you're brand new and you're getting ready for the next round of challenges, again, starts in just a few days, here's how things work. Every single day you're going to receive a challenge, at least Monday to Friday, except the first Monday. Confusing, isn't it? You'll get it. You can join us in our Discord community chat. I'm going to hop over here. We have over 40,000 designers in Discord. It's a crazy, exciting place. Hop in there, talk with fellow designers, share your work in the current challenge channel. If you're working on past challenges, you can share it in the past challenge channel. And if you're working on my 5-minute challenges, you can share it there as well. New ones are coming soon. Been a little bit busy, but new ones are coming. If you have questions or you want to share tips and tricks, if you want to share career advice or get career advice, a lot of cool places that you can go in Discord. And even if you're not participating in these challenges, it's a fun place to hang out with fellow designers. And with people all over the world, there are always going to be people on Discord chatting away. If you are participating, you can watch Was Me live every day at 2 o'clock Pacific time. Starting next week is going to be Jesse. And then I think Peter's going to do one at some point in the future. I'm going to be doing another one in May. I'm sure Andrea will be back. We have a lot of great hosts. And then finally, you're going to share your work on Behance using the keyword XD Daily Challenge or on Discord like I just showed you. Now, this is weird. All right, well, there you go. There are no challenges. The challenges have been destroyed. All right, then, let me refresh one more time. I think someone pressed a button a little bit too early. Fix it, people. Fix it. This is where you would usually go to find your challenges, but it looks like they're preparing, but the little elves are preparing behind the scenes for next week's challenge. But let's go ahead and hop into Adobe XD to kind of recap what we've done so far. I'm going to try and do it by memory. So we started off last week exploring how plugins can help you design out a navigation bar. We then moved on to content-aware layout, and we designed this call to action group at the top. We explored repeat grids and how they can help when you, oh, that's right, it does show, but I got this. Repeat grids help you create this top post section. We then moved on to component states right down here and allowed us to create not only various versions of this chart, but they actually animate as well. And then, that's right, you can also get the files through Discord. Thank you, Mark, and thank you, Juhi. Then we moved on to using guides to help us create this activity section over here to the right. We then used anchor links to create and navigate to these feeds at the bottom. And then yesterday, we explored how we can use animated masks to create this kind of like a story preview. And then if we take a look at the preview of our dashboard, here's how things are looking. So we've got our navigation bar on the left, we've got our call to action, we've got our animated chart over here. We can scroll down using anchor links. We can see all this fun stuff. Ooh, we've got sound effects. And of course, we have our story that we created yesterday, right? That's fun times. And today, we're going to explore Auto-Animate, we're going to explore masks, we're going to explore a few different techniques to improve our navigation bar. Now, since I want this navigation bar to expand for today's challenge, I'm going to move it all the way up to the top, just like that. Little boop in there, little boop. There's the boop. It's a good thing I didn't crash my streaming software today with the boop. I don't know what happened the other day. So we've got our navigation bar over here, and essentially what we want to happen is we want this navigation bar to expand, either when someone taps on it or someone hovers over top of it. So here's what we're going to do. The first thing we need is to turn this into a component. But before we do that, you know what, we can do that. But before we move on to the different states, we're going to add a few elements. So I've got the navigation bar selected right over here to the left, and either in your properties inspector to the right or within your assets panel, you can go ahead and press the plus button beside components, and this will create a new component. And it's called navigation bar because that's what the group was named. Beautiful. Now, since we want this to expand, we may want to add a few elements that will only be present when it expands. Text, for example, might be one of them. So inside of the navigation bar, I'm going to go into the group, and I'm going to grab my text tool, and I'm going to type out, let's say this one in particular might be analytics, right? Analytics. Now, in terms of the typeface, let's go ahead and pull some inspiration from the header text, and that was Rift. So I'm going to go ahead and type out Rift. Now, be careful with using light fonts. Most of the time, you probably don't want to do that. So I'm going to bump this up to, let's say, Demi. Not too bad. Yeah, let's try Demi, see what that looks like. I'm going to increase the size a little bit, and I'm going to keep consistency, change this to white, right? Beautiful. I'll line it up right about there, and I'll move one down, and this might be our inbox. Bam, there we go. Beautiful. Make sure everything lines up really nicely. This might be notifications. This might be settings down here. Beautiful. And then this one up here is going to be our dashboard. Dashboard, right? We want to change the color to match the icon on the left, and I might actually want to pull these icons out a little bit, right? Just like that. Perfect. So that's essentially how things are going to look when the text layers come into view, but we don't want them displayed like that initially. So like yesterday, we're going to have to use a mask to hide some of these. So what I'm going to do, since we basically have the shape of our navigation bar already set up, I'm going to grab that background layer, this one right here, I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste it above my group. I'm going to select both of those. Again, we did all this yesterday, but as a recap, you're going to select the mask layer and everything that you want inside of it. Under the object menu, you're going to choose mask with shape, just like that. And it's going to place all those elements directly inside that group. Now, we're obviously noticing some weirdness, right? We don't want the text layers to be displayed immediately. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to dive into the mask. We're going to select the layers. We're going to move them. But we're not just going to move them, on the same plane. We're actually going to move them. We're going to stagger them a little bit. That way, when we get to animating, it's going to, let me go ahead and select notifications. They're going to come in almost at different speeds. We're kind of, we're faking it a little bit, right? There we go. And move this out. And now because they're outside of that mask, when we click off of it, we can't see it, which is really nice. Now, just to give you an idea of how things are going to look, when it does enlarge, right, we're going to select those two and the background, and whoop. Now, of course, we're going to have to fix that weirdness going on, but what we're also noticing is that, there's going to be some weirdness going on because we do have a cutout here. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically grab a rectangle, and of course, if you did not use a cutout, you can just continue on with your life, but I'm going to just create an element like this, make sure it's the same color. It looks like it probably is, right? I'm going to move it behind. Oops, what am I doing? It's not doing it. What's going on? Okay, what I'm going to do is this. I'm actually going to ungroup these. I'm going to make this cutout this color here. There we go. All right. And just mess with it. Oh, because there was a background blur. That's what was going on. We had a background blur. Yeah, that's going to cause some problems. Turn off background blur and you won't have problems. All right, there we go. So that's looking good, pretty good. We've got our cutout looking okay. I ungrouped it. You don't have to ungroup it. Just make sure you're not using a background blur. That will cause some problems. I tried to get a little bit fancy. Obviously, that caused some problems. All right, so we have our initial state set up, but now we want to set up our next state, which is going to animate. Now to do that, over here to the right, you can press the plus button and you can either create a new state or a hover state. Now if you want someone to hover over top of this navigation bar and it's going to automatically expand, you can do that. And you're going to notice the lightning icon to the right. That will let you know that's going to automatically be wired up, which is super nice. Or if you want to simply tap on it, you can create a new state. Let's go ahead and create a hover state, see what that looks like. And now all we have to do is make our changes. So I'm going to dive in here. I'm going to select my mask, just like this. And I'm also going to select the background layer. And I'm just going to drag these out about to the point where I want it to expand. Now, of course, I can do the same for the cutout. And depending on if you used a shape or a subtraction Boolean object, the process will be pretty much the same. And I'll just drag this out just like that, right? Perfect. See how that looks? It looks okay. I'd probably tweak that a little bit, but it doesn't look too bad. Now, in terms of the text, getting them all over to the left, here's what we're going to do. We're going to grab dashboard. We're going to move this over just like this. It's about 20, almost 24 pixels from the left side or the right side of that icon. Now, what we can do is we can select all of these elements, all these text layers. And up here to the left, top left corner, we can hit this button right here, which is going to align all of them to the left automatically, which is really nice. Now there's a little bit too much room here, so I might want to just pull this back a touch. Pull this back as well, just like that, and also grab the mask and make sure the mask is nice and flush with the navigation bar. That way we don't get that cutout kind of floating around, right? And that looks pretty good, if I do say so myself. All right, so now that we have our hover state created, we also have our default state, and now there's nothing else to do because it was, as a hover state, it was automatically wired up. So I'm going to go ahead and press the play button at the top, and woo, there we go. And if you look closely, you're going to notice the text layers are kind of staggering as they come in, right? Do you see it? Just to help you see it, let's go ahead and hop into prototype mode. We've got our hover interaction selected. I'm going to switch, let's go for in and out and switch it over to, let's say 0.8 seconds. It's probably going to be slow, but just to show you how things are looking, press play and yeah, it's way too slow. But you can kind of see that the text layers are nicely staggering in, which has a nice effect, right? So let's go ahead and increase that to 0.4 and that's looking a little bit better. And of course you can get, creative and add shadows if you wanted to. So let's go ahead and back into design mode. In the default state, I'm going to go ahead and I can very easily duplicate this background layer. I'm going to duplicate it back there, right? I'm going to add, it still has a background blur. I don't need a background blur. There we go, no background blur. Perfect, thank you, Monica. And Steven's asking, how's my daughter doing? She's doing much better. She has recovered and she's doing well. She had a cough that she just couldn't get rid of for the longest time. But it is gone, which is great. Make a little bit of a shadow. Now, of course, because we have the cutout that's not part of a Boolean object, we may run into some problems, but you can get creative with some of this stuff, or you can add a shadow to the entire navigation bar. There's a lot of different things you can do with this, but I think things are looking pretty good. Whoa, what did I just do? Let me undo that. Let me get rid of that shadow. I broke something. Let me undo the background blur. And how are things looking? Things are looking pretty good, right? Now we can also do the same, very similar thing to what we did during yesterday's stream with the story states. We can also add, an overlay to the background to blacken everything out. There's a lot of fun things you can do, but that's just about it, right? So play one more time. Here's our dashboard. Now, because I did convert it into a component, we have to make sure to fix it into place one more time. But now, no matter where we are on this dashboard, it expands And there's all of our text layers. And of course you can wire these up. You can do a lot of different things with these things. But I want to kind of quickly go through this challenge today because I do want to hop into Discord and take a look at some of your entries. We do have some time left. So I'm going to go ahead and hop into the current challenge section, scroll down to the bottom, and let's go ahead and take a look at some of this. So this one is from Mushfiq, I think. Let's go ahead and make this full screen. And here we go. So this is a dashboard for possibly working out or walking or something like that. Okay, there's a very quick, there we go. That's a nice animation, a nice little illustration at the top. Oh, I love the little story preview. And did you notice the other ones? Let me play that one more time. The other ones over to the right kind of darkened or faded out. And then that's super cool. If I were to give a little bit of feedback very quickly, I would say some of the borders on this area here are a little bit too harsh. I would drop those down just a little bit, not too much, because then you won't be able to see the box against the background. Drop them a little bit. I would even drop the opacity of the heart, the inactive heart, just a touch. Navigation bar looks pretty good. Maybe increase the size of the icons just a touch. But yeah, I think that looks pretty good. And of course, this guy has a fantastic beard and mustache, so what's there to complain about? All right, this one is from Drew. Let's go ahead and check this out. It opened on my other monitor. Let's bring it over here. Here we go. And this is a working XD prototype, and I should probably point out, let me hop back over to Adobe XD just for a second. If you did want to share your prototypes with the world, what you can do is in prototype mode, make sure that the home icon is checked on the artboard that you want to share. So go ahead and turn that on. Then hop into share mode. And there's a few different options over here to the right. You can share for design review. So if you're sharing it for interaction purposes or you want people to give you feedback, that's a great place. Share for development is a whole other beast, which I do have videos on letsxd.com/sharing. But if you're working on a website and you want your developers to have access to your assets and your colors and your character styles and that sort of thing, that's a great place. Presentation, user testing, or you can customize the experience completely. But let's go ahead and share for review. I'm going to choose anyone with the link because I do want people to take a look at it. But if I do have security concerns, I can always put a password on it or invite specific people over email. And I'm going to go ahead and create a link. It's going to grab all those assets, upload them, including the interactions. And in just a moment, I have a link right here at the top. I can also grab the embed code if I am putting this on Behance. Let's go ahead and open this up. It opened in my other browser again for some reason. Here we go. And just like you can on your desktop, hover works, anchor links work, right? Your stories. Sound effects work. Fancy, right? Your animated states and components, those work really well. So if you do want to share it, just like, I think this was this Drew possibly? I think his name was Drew. Let's go back and check. Drew, yeah. So just like Drew did, you can share your working prototype, post it on Discord, embed it on Behance, all that fun stuff. So here is a very in-depth looking dashboard. Manage your fleet on the go. Nice call to action at the top. And I did see, ooh, look at that. Nice little interaction when you hover over it. You've got my products here. Ooh, clicking on them expands too. Very cool. Nice navigation bar. The black on the yellow kind of work. And you also use those to navigate around using anchor links, which is really nice. And this looks pretty good. Got a map over to the right. You can cycle, ooh, look at that. You can cycle between these different views over here. Nice job, Drew. My only feedback, I don't have much on this one, but I would try to line up this edge here with this edge over here, because it's looking a little bit uneven. I know what you were trying to do. You're trying to line this up here with the edge over here, but it just looks visually, it looks a bit off. So try to line those edges up as well. Just maybe to add a little bit of padding between the search bar and this horizontal line. But other than that, I think it looks pretty good. Great job. Great job, Drew. That's a tongue twister. All right, who do we got next? Denise. Let's take a look at this. Come on, quality. Snap into place. Let's do it. Or maybe it's just a very small video. But what I can see, it's a little bit pixelated. There was a no, oh, that was fancy. I was like, what? I thought my phone was making noises, but no, it's the prototype. So let me, it's a little bit difficult to see because it's probably a very tiny video, but the colors look really nice. Let me play it from here. The colors look really nice. The alignment looks super cool. She even expanded the navigation bar like we were doing today. She has several different charts at the bottom. The stories look really great. There's noises. Great job, Denise. Danish is asking, what are some fonts and colors you would recommend for XD? I mean, colors is a whole big story. I mean, it depends on your project, right? So I'm not going to get into colors, but fonts, I've been big into Poppin, Sophia Pro. Rift is good. It's an uppercase font, but so it's, you know, situational. Helvetica New is always a good one. If you're designing apps for iOS devices, Apple's San Francisco font is always good. Comic Sans, okay, probably not. Let's go ahead and check out Rachelle's dashboard. There we go. Nice, great sound effects. Oh, it's Harry Potter themed. I love that, I think. Atkins says, Howard's favorites are Poppins, pink, and purple. Yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, what I would say on this, so things are looking pretty good at the top. I would be careful with the drop shadow under here, maybe blur it out even more just so it's not super harsh. And then down here, I would watch the borders a little bit. They're probably a little bit too strong. And then in this area, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, this area here, it really stands out with this harsh border. You may or may not need it. You can probably go for maybe a slightly lighter gray background and then drop the border if the focus is, you know, the houses of Hogwarts right here. But other than that, looking pretty good. A very nice drop shadow here. It's not too harsh, nice and subtle. Great job. I think that was Raquel. And then we've got Ed. We did take a look at Ed's yesterday, I believe, or the day before. So let me see if I have anyone else's. Stanislav. All right. Few things right off the bat. I would say the icons over here are kind of hugging the edges just a little bit too much. So either increase the size of this cutout or shrink it down just a little bit. Make sure your alignment, you know, maybe line this up with the bottom of the navigation bar. And then the text over to the right is way too small. You do have some room to expand that activity section over to the right. So, you know, use the space and make the text nice and legible. All right, who do we've got now? Marina, here we go. Oh, I missed one over here, but let's take a look at Marina's for a second. This is Golf Club member account dashboard. All right, great colors. The gold on the greenish color is a little bit muddy. It kind of blends in just a touch. So maybe either, you know, change one of the two. I would maybe change the icons just to white. It'll probably look pretty nice. I get the idea that it's like a gold member account, which is good. You probably don't have to use gold everywhere. Use it very casually. You can definitely use it here for gold member. But for the icons, I would probably go white. All this looks pretty good. Whoops. This looks nice. I would also pause. Oh, I mean, it's probably fixed into place, so it doesn't really matter. But if when you are displaying it, maybe just grab this blue in the background and just bring it down so it doesn't look like there's this weird separation up here. And then she's got several of the elements looking pretty good. All right, let's hop back over to Discord. I did miss this one over here. This is from Pete. Let's see what Pete is up to. Stanislav has fixed it already. Awesome. And I love seeing all of you in the chat. Denise is here. Drew is here. That's great. All right, for this one, the right off the bat, few bits of feedback. The icon here is definitely, you know, blending in with the background. Change it to white. Simple as that. This shadow down here, because it's on a goldish background, the blue isn't really working. What you should probably do is match the shadow to the background. So go for, if you do want a shadow here, go for more of a goldish shadow. Let's sample this color in the background and just bring the darkness down just a touch so that it kind of blends in nicely. Same deal with the shadow under the line. Sample the background, or at least the darker color, and then just bring the color down just a touch. Activity section looks great over to the right. Pizza, I want pizza now. I don't know what these things are, but these look amazing. This looks like a crepe possibly. Scroll down, these are great looking stories. Nice job. Oh, I am so hungry now. Look what you've all done to me. Anyways, I'm gonna go eat probably, because I'm hungry after looking at all these amazing challenges, and I'm excited to see what all of you do. I'm gonna hop into Discord later, take a look at some of your stuff, and if you do continue working on it over the next few weeks, you can definitely post it in the past challenge channel. And Jesse's coming up on Monday with another daily creative challenge. We run these things all the time. We also have Photoshop and Illustrator challenges. We have a lot of stuff going on throughout the day. And I believe, let's see, do we have anything else after me right now? We do. Kyle Webster's up doing some really amazing illustrations. He always puts on a great show, especially if you have kids. Grab a crayon, grab a marker, grab your kid, and just have him or her draw along with Kyle. It's good stuff. So thanks again, everyone. Vidalma, Ruben, and Stanislav, and Denise, and Drew, and Akin, and Bavin, and everyone else, Sam and Tim and everyone, One Sock Wonder. Thanks again, everyone, and I will see you all eventually. I'll be back next week for another XD Masterclass, but Jesse's taking over for the daily challenges. Thanks again, everyone.